For our story today, we deal with the artist known as Lizzo, who has a certain body type and apparently a certain body type for her backup dancers as well. I I will take note. She has been hit with a lawsuit from her dancers over claims that she runs a hostile work environment. The wide-ranging lawsuit accuses the singer, who is an advocate of body positivity, and since positive is associated with more, I would say that there is definitely more body to be positive of insinuating about dancers' weight gain, which is pot calling the kettle black the right expression in this circumstance, given that Lizzo and her dancers are all black. I don't know if that's quite the right expression in this circumstance, but it's something. And pressuring them to attend some sort of sex shows, whatever that would be. So all kinds of fun going on here, apparently, in Lizzo land. Let's learn a little bit more about this. A trio of former tour dancers for the artist Lizzo are taking the artist to court for allegedly subjecting them to a hostile work environment that included instances of sexual harassment. The suit, which represents the plaintiffs, said was filed on Tuesday in Los Angeles Superior Court, accuses Lizzo and the employees of Big Touring Inc. of interrogating dancers about their weight, which seems very odd. Are we interrogating them about it going up or going down? Normally, I wouldn't ask that question because normally when you think about an employer, interrogating their employees about their weight, you're thinking that they're interrogating them about them being too fat, right? That would be sort of the cliche, right? I want only thin women, to be part of this establishment because thin women are prettier. But in the specific case of Lizzo, I'm not sure that's necessarily true. So are we interrogating them because we think they're losing weight, or are we interrogating them because we think they're gaining weight? Which way is bad in Lizzo land? Unclear. And pressuring them apparently to engage in sexually explicit acts at sex shows. So that would be the nature of the sexual harassment, right? We came in to be backup dancers, and we're going to use the term dancers very loosely here. Backup talent, backup people to be a part of the shows. And we'd also like them to participate in a sex show. I'd like to note for the record that as a straight male, I have zero interest in these sex shows. Not what I'm into. Please tell me when they're coming into town so I can make sure to stay very, very far away. All the far away. I don't want it anywhere near me. It details an incident in Amsterdam this year where the staff was allegedly pushed to engage with nude performers. Lizzo apparently began inviting cast members to take turns touching the nude performers, catching dildos launched from the performers' vaginas, which that's an interesting trick, I suppose. Okay. And eating bananas protruding from performers' vaginas, state the complaint. Well, that sounds pretty aggressive. Yeah. Please touch the nude performers. Please catch their dildos launched from their vaginas. Please eat the bananas currently protruding from their vaginas. Lizzo has some interesting desires in her heart, it seems. Lizzo allegedly pressured the plaintiffs to touch the breasts of one of the nude women performing at the club and began leading a chant goading her to do so, despite her expressing discomfort. So I don't want to, and now we're using peer pressure and, more to the point, employment pressure to try to force her to doing it, which, can lead to somewhat of a hostile work environment. The performer apparently reluctantly agreed after the chorus became overwhelming, at which point the singer and her staff burst out into laughing. Not a great move, right? So we're using our pressure, we're using peer pressure, we're using our employment pressure to force her, and then once she finally gives in, we laugh at her for giving in. Yeah, this is great. It reminds me of that moment, I think it was Evergreen State, where the dean was up there trying to tell the students basically to, stay in their lane and behave. And the students were starting to accuse him of microaggressions by his hand gestures and stuff. And he eventually stopped because of what the student said, and the students started laughing at him, like because they had won. They laughed at him because of, the control. So it reminds me of that moment as well. So it's very reminiscent of that. Davis, Crystal Williams, and Noel Rodriguez made several allegations in the complaint, including religious and racial harassment, disability discrimination, which I wonder if the nature of the disability is weight, incidentally, which, if so, raises a whole bunch of interesting issues because, well, I thought we were about fat positivity over here. But if we're using it as a disability criteria, we can't kind of have it both ways. So is it a disability or is it an advantage? It can't be both an asset and a detriment at the same time, it seems. And also, we want assault and false imprisonment because we wouldn't let you leave. We coerced you. Okay. They've sued Lizzo, her production company, Big Touring, and Sherlyn Quigley, captain of the singer's dance team. So this is Mean Girls taken to a whole new level, I guess. The suit says that Lizzo, who is regarded as an advocate of body positivity, more body, more positive, I guess, pressed Davis for an explanation why she seemed less bubbly and vivacious than she did prior to tour starting. I don't know. Maybe it was the sexual harassment and sexual assault, but I'm just guessing. According to the complaint, she argues the questions were thinly veiled questions about her weight gain, which apparently is bad, despite the body positivity. So maybe there's a maximum amount of body positivity in Lizzo world. What is the magic number? So can you still call them fat when they reach a certain point? What is the fat limit for a fat person, I suppose? Which Lizzo had previously called attention to after noticing at the South by Southwest Music Festival. Apparently, there's limits for the body positivity. We are body positive up to a certain limit, which, given Lizzo's appearance, once again, I'm not sure if pot calling the kettle black is necessarily the best turn of phrase in this particular example, but it's something. Although Lizzo never explicitly asked about weight, Davis claims that she was left with the impression that she needed to explain her weight gain and disclose intimate personal details about her life in order to keep her job. That could be in the nature of the harassment. Yes, so that's not great. Big Touring Inc., which was also accused of religious harassment through Quigley, who allegedly monitored Davis's virginity and singled her out as a non-believer. Okay, that's creepy. A lot. That's very, very creepy. We're monitoring our employees for their sexual proclivity. I'm having a difficult time understanding how, in this particular context of employment, that would qualify as a bona fide occupational qualification. So maybe there's some employment out there in which monitoring your employees for whether they're virgins or not would be appropriate. But I'm not so sure about this particular context. Holy God. The complaint adds that while Miss Quigley was for sure the most extreme in her religious convictions, her sentiment were often echoed by others in supervisory roles at the Big Touring. Before rehearsal and performances, the dance team would pray together. While it's not an official requirement to participate, it became clear that engagement was compulsory. Okay, well, you'd want to know more about that, right? Because people obviously can express their faith, and people can express their faith in their work. And if people want to pray together, that's cool, right? So the issue would be the nature of the compulsion in the retribution for not participating, right? So if you didn't want to participate, or you wanted to participate in a different way, or you wanted to pray in a different way, or didn't want to pray, or hold whatever, right? That has to all be acceptable. So the issue isn't here that Lizzo wants to pray, although what she's praying for, unclear, but we'll push that aside. The issue isn't that Lizzo wants to pray. The issue isn't that other employees want to pray with her. The issue is the degree to which this is being compulsory or which there's retaliation, which is not acceptable. So that's a problem. $5 from Braxton Heaps. Good morning, Kurt. I'm always happy to catch a stream, especially now I'm running out of your back catalog of streams. I don't even think that's possible. I've got like 2,300 videos on my channel, and you're running out of back catalog. If you're running out of back catalog of my channel, you need help, sir. You need help. You have an addiction problem. Apparently, the only cure is more uncivil. But I'm only one man. I can only do so much. Thank you for your super chat. Also, earlier super chat, $5 from Gene Angry Penguin. Why did I have to click the stream at this exact moment? Because you love me. That answers that question. And I believe there was one other super chat that came in, maybe? No, just the two? Okay, that's fine. I thought I saw one more and just want to make sure I acknowledge them both since we hit a little part of the stream. Okay. The assault claim apparently stems from a confrontation that Rodriguez and Lizzo, who allegedly approached the dancer aggressively, yelling profanities, cracking her knuckles, and balling her fists, apparently preparing herself for an attack. Lizzo apparently had to be restrained, which I imagine would be difficult given her size, but apparently we were able to do that. Additionally, Davis alleged the assault after she was confined to a room against her will, which would be the false imprisonment / kidnapping. Amazingly enough, you can't put someone in a room and prevent them from leaving. That's illegal. You can't do that. And I was told she's not allowed to leave unless she submitted to a search of the contents of her phone. Yeah, you can't do that. She and Williams were terminated while Rodriguez resigned, according to the complaint. A representative for Lizzo has not responded to the request. Well, that sounds like a lot to start with for sure. Thus, that brings us to the end of this lawsuit of Lizzo and her backup dancers, pictured here, all of which I want no part of on any level. I don't. Yeah, this is who is going to this show to watch this? Apparently, some people are for some reason. All right. And anyway, she's being sued for assault, false imprisonment, sexual assault, sexual harassment, lack of religious accommodation, retaliation, and a whole bunch of stuff that seems pretty aggressive based on the facts. So we'll see how that all progresses in Lizzo land. At least for the moment, that brings us to the end of the discussion of this story.